Squirm Squad, deploy. So yeah, let's continue.
Deploy where?
The quest for Adam continues.
Yes. In the meantime, audience, I have finally gotten around to checking out Gears Tactics. It's okay. That's it.
Gears Tactics, from what I understand, is basically the equivalent to Halo Wars, you know, a top-down, real-time strategy game.
Yeah, gameplay-wise, yes. Story-wise, it's a return to the level of Gears of War Judgment. It's there, it's serviceable. I mean, the only real... The only major tie-in that it has compared to the main series is that it shows us how Gabe and Reyna, aka Kate's parents, first met. And that's literally it. That's literally the only connection. The rest is just a very self-contained, basic story about defeating Ukon, who's the... Turns out there's this Ukon locust that was the one who creates most of the big monsters, like Brumac and shit, and the boomers and stuff like that.
Is it sad that the only reason I remember that game is because you mentioned that you were playing it?
Well, I didn't play it actually. I just watched an entire playthrough.
Well, that you were checking it out.
Yeah. Well, from what I've looked into,
because you weren't that much interested to begin with. Again, I have been following news ever pretty much since its announcement. So.
Don't get me wrong, but like, well, I mean, okay, to compare this, when I hear about Halo Wars, I'm actually still interested to check that out. But with Gears Tactics, I don't know, something about it just seemed generic by the series standards.
It's not story-wise and overall in terms of character. Yeah, it's very, again, much like well, Tom Bissell was not the lead writer for this one. He was, however, the secondary writer. There's a new writer called Taylor Clark that
I tried to check, but I can't seem to find him. But so I don't know if he has actual experience under his belt.
Well, regardless, it's again it's very generic. Much all of the other Gears games that Tom Bissell worked on, it's very by the numbers. Like it again, like okay, I will give it credit. We're back to playing as burly, muscular men with guns, as it should be. Nothing wrong with female characters in Gears. It's just that this is a dude bro shooter. Keep it a dude bro shooter. I mean, this game does it well. For the record, this one that we're playing right now. What was it? Yeah. So there's that. So it is an improvement in that regard, compared to Gears 5. But the overall story is just like the characters that they introduce are not particularly memorable. They're just kind of there. They're serviceable. There's nothing inherently wrong with them. They're better than the new cast for 4 and 5. It's just that, but there's not exactly. They're just serviceable. They're just okay. Like, and remember, like the primary force, the primary thing that's supposed to carry the campaigns of these games is the characters. So if you don't get because the stories are very basic. It is basically just, you know, go kill the locust or go kill the lambent or whatever. It's very basic action movie stories. So it's up to the characters to carry the cutscenes, and the characters that in post Gears 3 have never really been all that memorable, if you ask me. But yeah,
wow.
That's all I got. That's all I got to say about that.
I guess the mood of the storm pretty much reflects our thoughts on the tactics from what's been heard.
Well, I won't go that far. Tactics is fine.
My cup of tea anyway.
Tactics is fine. What? It's not bad. It's just fine.
Again, Joe, the only reason why I'm not taking that up is because my PC is clearly not powerful enough to handle it, and I don't really have
I mean, if my PC can't, I checked my PC recently. If it can't run Final Fantasy 14, so I doubt it would run.
Yeah, true. I will give it credit.
I think Gears Tactics is a game for you because, unlike with something like the Unholy War, tactical RPGs require more different, placement, leveling up, setting up the skills, a lot of micromanagement.
I will give it credit that despite being a top-down strategy game, that's literally the only major change, because everything else feels very Gears. It's like there's banter between the characters while we're doing the gameplay, nice, just like in the main games, and the cutscenes are AAA fully produced cutscenes, just like the ones in Gears 5. So the production values are top notch. So I will give them that. Okay, I don't know if the game uses Unreal Engine 5. Sorry, 4. Like 4 and 5 do. It probably does.
Yeah, I'm checking here. It does.
Well, the whole reason this series was created was to be a showcase for the Unreal Engine, and so it should.
Wouldn't that be something if Microsoft decided, hey, you know what? Gears of War needs a completely new engine other than the Unreal Engine.
Well, I'm pretty sure 6. Well, I'm pretty sure 6 is gonna be using Unreal Engine 5. It only makes sense. This series was created.
Exactly.
This series was created to showcase the Unreal Engine to begin with. So.
Exactly.
Also, the sweaty, muscular bodies of our protagonists with so many million triangles going on.
Unreal Engine 5. That's not gonna be on Switch, is it?
Eventually, 4 eventually made its way into the Switch. So I'm pretty sure when Epic Games made the new engine, they were probably already made it with Switch in mind. Eventually.
Yeah. Here's the thing, Glibs. The engine does not dictate what can go on the system all the time.
As long as you pay the royalties to Epic Games, you're good to go.
Yep. It's like I said. It's a matter of how well a game is optimized for each platform. And Unreal Engine 5 seems to be a system that should be friendly to all 3 platforms.
Yeah, I think I understand now why up until recently, Square wanted to use their own engines because they don't want to pay another company to use theirs.
Well, it's not just that.
The problem is Square stuck at making their own engines. So.
A lot of companies have. Capcom reintroduced with Resident Evil their own custom engine, but now they seem to be most of their projects.
That's what I said to you. The problem was Square suck at making their own engines. I mean, Crystal Tools was only really good for linear stuff, and it would show when they tried to make it, use it for OG 14, and that was part of why it turned out to be such a giant mess. And the Luminous engine wasn't that much better. I mean, they had to downscale it so it would work properly with 2.0 14.
Oh, that's right. Oh, that's right, Chase. You're still here. I forgot.
Well, I mean, at least we can say that he is here and contributing dialogue-wise.
Don't bother. He thinks he's helping, so whatever.
Anyway,
what you were saying, Java?
Well, when it comes to Square, it's not so much that their engines outright suck. It's that the problem is that they focus on making everything look as pretty as possible and nothing else, pretty much.
Basically.
Case in point, it's why, 13 as a game still holds up relatively well for a 7th generation game, but the sequels suck because, well, when the gameplay changed a bit, it wasn't suited for that kind of engine,
No.
But they kind of had to stick with that engine.
But Joba, you desperately need to know that have a lightning as a piercing on her navel. Like, that's vital to know.
Yes,
that's right. Cutscene.
Many engines could do that.
Yes, that's right. On a character who's so glorified that apparently seeing her very own cleavage is considered sacrilege, at least in the first 13 game.
Throw 3 switches. That shuts down the whole generator by stages. But there'll be locusts in there waiting for you, Mark.
Okay, I'm so waiting for this. Right. I'm so waiting for the scene where the dad's trying to explain something, but he ends up getting killed midway through his sentence.
Marcus, please. I'm the one who needs some forgiveness. I've cost you everything. I can see it.
Well, at least it's not one of those cliched son hates the father, father hates the son sort of relationships.
Well, you can tell Marcus had some resentment.
Well, no, well, not really. Well, Marcus doesn't have any reason to resent his father anyway. Remember, it was him who caused everything that happened to Marcus was because of him. Remember, he was the one who defied orders to save his dad, and he got arrested for it. So it's not like. Oh, there you go, and there's some emotion there. So basically, he's experimenting with the Locust Queen wants him to find a way to destroy the Lambent, basically.
Yeah.
Problem is what she'll do after he takes care of the Lambent problem.
Well, maybe that's it, Joe. Maybe he's trying to buy us time and by pretending to not be able to figure it out.
Precisely. Oh boy, flamethrower.
There you go. Basically, whenever you find that locust with a flamethrower, shoot the flamethrower itself so that it will explode, killing the locust. There you go, like that.
Yeah.
Boom. There you go.
Aye.
I'll take that.
Indeed. But yeah, no. Like I said, no. Gears Tactics is perfectly fine. Perfectly fine. There's nothing inherently wrong with it. It's just that there's nothing noteworthy about it either. It's just there. It's fine.
That sums up almost all of the Xbox One's exclusives.
There you go.
Not necessarily. That's Crackdown.
It started prominently on PC, and we don't even know when it's gonna be released on Xbox One.
Crackdown 3 is horrible.
Ooh,
so is State of Decay 2. Well, okay. The gameplay of Rise, I guess you can say it's kind of okay in the sense that it's functional, but the story sucks ass. Like we've talked. Check our playthrough for more details.
And then there's the most recent Forza game.
Alright, look, guys.
Adorable.
Football.
There you go, Dwebs. This is how these things become in the future.
So
Yeah, Marcus, we don't have time for
why?
this.
I don't even know. I mean, there's a reason why you have the sticks that control the players at the sides, not back and forth. And
Don't you see,
okay,
this is the
Okay.
future. It needs to be technological.
okay, Pedro. When I mess around with the other interactive stuff in the game, I don't do it during a firefight.
No. Don't you see, dude? This is all part of Sergeant Marcus's brilliant training here. See how his troops handle it while he's off playing space foosball.
You're making Marcus come off worse than I made Cloud look when he was messing around on the swings.
After a whole Sector 7 plate had been dropped.
Nothing but
Oh,
bits.
jeez.
Yeah.
Even before that, he was messing around on the swings when he should have been looking for his friends after he got separated from them after the second reactor blew up.
Going back to it though, Quantum Break sucks ass on both fronts.
Oh, yeah, Quantum Break. That was such a disappointment. Oh, by the way, how about Halo 4 and 5?
Well, I'm not really familiar with those games, so I can't really comment on those.
Well, I am. Halo 4's campaign... Well, okay, Halo 4 campaign was fine, but really not as stellar as you would expect a Halo game to be. And the multiplayer is up in the air. Then there's Halo 5, which... Okay, even if you aren't a Halo fan, you probably have heard the hatred towards, at the very least with that campaign. Because making our main protagonist the bad guy is totally a good idea.
That's
It
just
can
for the
work. It's just you have to set it up.
Let me put it like this. It tries to be Metal Gear Solid 2, but goes horribly
Jova, that's another sequel that I could bring up. You're getting it wrong, but I'm not going to bring up that sequel because we're not here to discuss that.
Well, that's the thing, Pedro. It kind of acts like that in Halo 5 as well.
From still working. What happened?
Well, we shut the damn thing down. Is there some other power supply?
The Locust must have a backup supply somewhere else.
Ah, shit. That could take hours to find.
Cut off the coolant. That'll take the generators offline, but it'll cause one hell of an explosion.
Well, that
Yeah,
works for me.
I mean-
Come on, let's find
Yeah, that works for us.
Marcus, you're gonna
Yeah.
have to get out of there.
You know, if there happens to be some lambent hanging around, that could help out with an explosion.
So, you were saying to you?
No, here's the thing, Waves. The way the universe of Halo is constructed, there is a very, very little sense in making a character like Master Chief an actual bad guy. Not necessarily for his personality or anything, but for how the universe is constructed. In universe, it makes literally zero sense. That's why, regardless of what the story did, absolutely nobody bought it, because it was essentially an impossible thing to do. And it wasn't like a thing of, the twist is that it actually did happen, because no, everybody was right. Even in universe, the characters call it out for how stupid it is.
Okay.
Well, I haven't seen Halo 5, but one example I have seen that I could bring up, I mean, I know it's not a video game, but it's a similar example, was Terminator Genesis.
Drips. First of all, Halo doesn't deal with time travel. That's already your first big difference.
Yeah.
Second, because the change in character morality that you're bringing up depends on time travel variation. I'm talking about in-universe strict, imagine, let's see, something that you may be familiar with. Okay, there you go. Imagine if, the series that I'm about to bring up does provide a possibility for it to happen, so let me try saying quickly just, and then let Jova say his own. Imagine if a new Tomb Raider gets released, and I don't mean a reboot, like a proper sequel to whatever the original Last of the Timeline was, but you're playing it for a new character, and Lara Croft is believed to have decided to become Maverick and start killing archaeologists out of nowhere, with their own group of mercenaries.
Well, Tio, okay, minus the whole killing over archaeologists bit. There is a Tomb Raider game where you can play as a character other than Lara Croft.
Well, I mean necessarily just the switcheroo. I mean also the fact that the classic de facto protagonist is treated as a bad guy.
Well, I mean, not necessarily a bad guy per se. So
yeah, that's what they meant instead.
The closest there was Angel of Darkness, which is in continuity with the classic series, and in that game, Lara's a flat-out bitch.
Well, again, she's not a villain though in that. Surprisingly,
it depends. It depends on It depends, though. I mean, she's not a villain, but she's certainly. But yeah, for being the main hero, she's not very likable.
Well, that's the thing, though. Being likable and being the villain are two different things. What Tio was saying is like, well, this is like if Lara Croft just went absolute villain, and the story expect you to believe, oh, all of a sudden Lara Croft's a villain. And this wasn't a reboot. Like, this was all part of the same old continuity.
The thing that can justify what I said is that in the universe of the classic Tomb Raider saga, there are several artifacts that have been known for corrupting people. So there is a potential excuse that franchise can provide. But you get what I mean in terms of an idea, the fact that a long-running franchise with a protagonist with a set personality that had different arcs, doubts, the supporting characters and all, now all of a sudden expects you, from a different perspective, to see this character turning a complete different leaf for the worse and buy it. Like, not even Shakespeare could actually pull this off.
It goes back to one of the most famous examples of how people screwed this up. The infamous Captain America secretly being a Hydra sleeper agent in the comic books.
Yeah.
And that stupid, infamous Hail Hydra bit. Like, okay, and yeah, that's the thing. You don't even have to be a comic book nerd to have heard about that. When that came out, everyone was rightfully...
Yeah, even Chris Evans was like...
What the hell, man?
Like, okay, it's like this. You are taking Captain America, a character who is pretty much the equivalent to Superman and how much a symbol of everything good he is for his universe, and then you try and retcon it to say, oh, he was secretly a bad guy all along, so let's hype up this other new character to play the real Captain America. That's what that's like. That is what Halo 5 was like. No, it turns out you weren't supposed to sympathize with Master Chief. You're supposed to sympathize with this new awesome character called Locke.
Well, here's the okay, I've got a question actually. Is there an example you guys can think of where the whole good face heel turn for the main character turned out well?
Tekken.
Yeah. Well,
any specifics?
Okay.
Specifically, the main protagonist of the first game goes on to be a series main antagonist of sorts.
That is because it's something that is established from the get-go, pretty much, of the first game. You may not remember this, but we saw it in the anime OVA that we commented on. Kazuo is infected with a gene that transforms him into a demon, the devil gene, and as such, even when he actually gets revenge on Heihachi, he turns out to be, well, not necessarily worse than him, because Heihachi still has probably the higher body count of the entire family, but still a very, very villainous person.
There's also...
That it's up to Gene in Tekken 3, and then he becomes a villain, a sort of a villain too. So, yeah.
There's also a
At least the mother turned out alright. Oh, wait.
There's also there's also a certain character in a recent Disney cartoon that I cannot mention because spoilers.
I think I've already read the spoilers.
I think you've seen that show, but
No, I've seen the show and I've already read the spoilers ahead of time because because I haven't been able to watch the show myself recently. I just kind of got curious and read it.
but back to the main
Since I know what Pedro is talking about, that also has the advantage of being a series that didn't have that much gap in between. It was a continuous series. There's a difference between that maybe and having like two mainline separate titles, whether in movies or video games, with a higher gap in between each other, I guess.
Let me bring up one of the most easiest comparisons to make. Imagine if they tried to make Mario a bad guy.
But Jova, Mario is secretly a communist, don't you know? That makes him a
Well,
bad guy.
technically, Jova, Donkey Kong 2 already did that.
No. Okay. I mean, in the sense that he's the bad guy trying to kidnap Peach all along. Like, not so much from like. Okay. Not so much from the perspective of another character, because by that logic, if we make a game where we play as Bowser, of course Mario's the bad guy. No, I'm talking about something from like the main perspective that portrays him as the bad guy. You know, sort of like if the citizens of Al Delfino actually did nothing wrong.
Oh Jesus!
I know, that bad.
Sure, we'll go with that.
Shit.
But yeah.
All right, escape before you got a minute and a half. That's okay. It's more time than you need.
So yeah, I can see that it seems to be more sufficient.
Brody, run! Don't fail us now.
Yeah, it's a good thing that despite the bulky armors, we have like the stamina of a bull.
That's
so.
how strong we are.
Muscles are for.
Well, if it helps you too, in Gears 5 we have a skiff. Yes, that's what it's called, a skiff thing that allows you to travel throughout the overworld thanks to the wind.
Yeah, it's the thing that they showed in the trailers.
Yeah, I still don't understand how the hell that thing actually works, but whatever.
Physics, what are those? Oh jeez.
Please, sir, out of our way.
That's
You're
the
in
thing.
my way, sir.
That's the thing, Terry. I would be cool with that, but it doesn't even look cool. It just looks.
Well, from what I remember seeing the trailers, it looks out of place from the universe perspective. Well, okay, Adam wasn't kidding about the little explosion thing.
Nope.
Yeah.
Well, he's a scientist. He would
Look
know
all
this.
the particles we can make with Unreal.
Well, actually, this cutscene is pre-rendered too.
Oh,
Both the PS3 Uncharted and the 360 Gears games use pre-rendered movies for the more complicated cutscenes.
Okay, so honest question: what is it with entertainment and giant beams shooting into the sky that affect the weather?
It's a
It
thing.
looks cool.
The entertainment for industry has a fetish for that.
So there you go. We destroyed the Maelstrom.
the time machine, yeah.
Weather machine.
Whatever. Yeah, I'm sorry. It's a
Yeah, I
bit
know.
confusing because
I
my
know.
country says both words for the same.
Yeah,
Sorry.
it's same for me. Yeah. Oh, hey, Cole.
Yes.
Yeah. Cheers,
then-
Mom. The cavalry's here.
And then suddenly from the water, the enemy fires a missile at the ship and it blows up.
You know.
No,
you know,
we saw the Leviathan enemies, but I'm pretty sure we killed all of them.
you know, Dwibs, I just want you to remember that for when I eventually record a play for Resident Evil 3.
Well, any
Otherwise,
Resident
something
Evil
like that
game
happened.
drove any Resident Evil game drove kinda had that as a gag.
No, but it's like Resident Evil 3 literally has the fake out with that, with what's.
Hey, guys, hold on, guys.
Is it like that Rise of Skywalker fake out?
All right, here's the new Jack.
New and improved.
Yes. We're gonna talk about it in the next part.
Hey, where's Dom and Dizzy?
Yeah.
Well, one of them's alive.
Sure. Dom didn't make it. Oh, fuck no. Somebody's gonna pay. Somebody's gonna fucking pay. He got us.
Damn straight.
Let's
Yeah.
finish.
Just don't get angry while you're holding those guns, and I hope they're on safety.
Help him out. He didn't tell him where to land.
Bye, Jace.
Bye, Chase. You were completely pointless.
Ship out.
Oh, wait, I have a whole character and everything.
Wait,
we're
when
probably
did-
not
hang
going to
on.
see him until
Hang
the
on.
end, right?
Hang on, guys. When did Jace show up?
At the
That's
beginning, pretty much.
don't worry,
He
Dweb.
did?
Don't worry, Dweb. I don't blame you for forgetting him. Well, I myself forget he exists a lot of times because he doesn't even say anything. He just stands there.
Did they accidentally delete the voice actor's line so they haven't been mute?
Maybe.
Well, he says something sometimes, but he's such a bland. I have to admit that he's such a bland character. To be honest,
He's
compared
the
to
character
others,
that he exists to fill to make up the numbers or something.
Basically,
Paradise.
yeah. I'm gonna have to side with this for the purposes of this game. Pretty much, yeah.
Watch him be a character who somehow is very
So
awesome.
what
No.
does this
Well,
jacket do?
maybe in the comics,
guys-
maybe in the comics he is. I don't know.
No, guys, I got it.
Watch him be
No.
a character who's incredibly broken in the multiplayer.
No, guys, I got it. I know what he's gonna do. He's gonna secretly be the villain in Gears 6.
Sure.
No, the only time Jace returns, well, maybe I don't know if he'll return in 6, but the only time we'll get some of Jace is in the Ram Shadow DLC for this game that we'll do after the campaign. We get to see how Jace first joined the coalition, but that's it.
Wow. well, I can't wait for that thrilling story.
It's not that great, no. All right, everybody, see you for the next part. Now it's time to make the Locust Queen pay.
Oh, yeah.
As if Shan
Yeah.
does enough to want to make her pay. See ya.
See ya.